What's up, YouTube? Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It doesn't take you that long to do it. It takes you a couple of seconds. You helping me, I'm able to produce more stuff like this. Now, this video comes from a First Amendment auditor out of California. He ended up taking a trip up to the state of Oregon to do a First Amendment audit on a police station. And this goes a bit wild, but this goes to show you how ego and a multitude of other things plays a role in how policing is done here in America. And me personally, I applaud First Amendment auditors because they put themselves on a line and they hold public officials accountable, because I think that's a huge misconception that police are supposed to pretty much do whatever they want, and that's not the case. Police are public servants. They're servants of the public. They're supposed to help people. They're not supposed to infringe on your rights. They're supposed to be neutral, and they're supposed to treat you with respect. And they're not supposed to enforce feelings. They're not supposed to enforce all of that other nonsense. That's why they're called law enforcement. So this guy, he does a really good job. And like I said, I really commend First Amendment auditors because a lot of them have been arrested. A lot of them have been seriously injured because of the work they do. However, I think it's a necessary evil because they rid out cops that should not be policing the community, because these individuals are very, very dangerous. So without further ado, let's get into it.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. It's alright. How's it going?
Can I help you?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Just saying everything's being recorded. What are you doing back there?
Yeah, likewise. Just taking pictures and recording. I'm not back there.
Huh?
I'm not back there.
What are you doing back here?
Oh, I'm taking pictures and recording.
Just saying everything's
Damn, that's a hell of a beard that guy got.
being recorded. What are you doing back there?
Yeah, likewise. Just taking pictures and recording. I'm not back there. Oh, I'm taking pictures and recording. Well, it's open, right?
What's that?
It's open, right?
The road and the sidewalk.
This part is it?
The driveway we own.
We own.
Who's we?
City of Gresham.
Right, which is public, right? I mean, I understand behind here.
Well, yeah, the sidewalk's probably where the road's probably.
But, yeah, this should be too, because it's open. It's open to the public.
Do you have a name and identification?
I do.
Can I see it, please?
Why is that?
Because I want to know who's taking pictures of us, that's why.
And keep in mind, this is a classic tactic that law enforcement use. They demand your identification, and it's a bit of a bullying tactic. It's a form of intimidation, especially when you're having armed law enforcement confront you. You know, it can be intimidating. That's why I commend First Amendment auditors, because, like I said, they put themselves on the line quite a bit, but it's equally so fascinating.
Okay. Do I have to give it to you? I don't know how that works, but...
You don't? I'm pretty sure you probably do. It'd be beneficial based on us being cooperative with each other. If he did, I'll give you all my...
And then, so what the cop does is revert to the guilt trapping, saying keywords and phrases to try to trigger a civilian, to make it seem as though the civilian has something to prove to him, when in actuality, the civilian don't. Any civilian that, is ever confronted by a cop, you have the absolute right to remain silent. You do not have to say anything, nothing at all.
My information, email your information.
Do you have a name and identification?
I do.
Can I
Right
see
there,
it?
Sergeant Justice. Identification number is 45957.
Cool. And what about you? Name and identification? Name and badge number? Awesome.
And that's one of the other things that you would see law enforcement do. They would say, oh, my name is right here. It's like, okay, officer, right here. They're supposed to identify themselves. Pretty much all law enforcement agencies in this country has a policy where cops have to identify themselves and give their badge numbers. So when they decline to do that, they're going against their own agency policies and laws. So the moment they do that, it's quickly becoming a hostile situation if they're not wanting to identify themselves. But let's continue.
So why is it that you find a necessity to film our back secure lot?
I'm just taking pictures. I mean, it's not that secure. This fence is super tall. If it was secure, it'd be a taller fence,
Secure enough.
Yeah, I mean, we could see it. We could take pictures of
With
it.
all the
Shouldn't be an
attacks on
issue.
law enforcement lately, I've got to wonder what your
When were you guys attacked?
didn't say we. I said law enforcement.
Was there a law enforcement attack around here at all?
There's law enforcement's attack every day around the country.
Oh, but I'm just mean around here.
So I guess they could pick one of 100 million scenarios and try to run with it and try to somewhat accuse that person of being some sort of suspect in an attack. It's weird. It blows my mind how they just pick something at random and say, oh, you could be doing that. Oh, you could be doing that. It's like, is there anything else? And I could also be turning into Goku from Dragon Ball Z. And, it's like, there's so many scenarios. It's like, come on now. It's like you're just picking random stuff. And that goes to show you, right? That just goes to show you just how much training law enforcement needs in this country. But let's continue.
That's not the point. I'm saying with the attacks on law enforcement, whether around here or not, is mute.
I haven't heard of any attack. That's why I'm asking. It's just a general
They're in
question.
the news every day.
Okay, well, I don't see them. I never see them.
Well, they're in the Oregonian.
So, yeah,
Online.
I never see them.
I
I've
just,
never seen them.
I just want to know why you're filming our back lot.
I told you. I'm getting some pictures and recording.
Did you get any
Doing
pictures?
the story now.
No?
No, I've got a bunch more to do.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool how the sun reflects.
But when I'm done, I'll be out of here.
So what's your name?
I don't see an issue. Is there an issue?
What's your name?
Again, do I have to get my name?
You don't have to.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not going to get it.
Oh, you're not?
No, not if I don't have to. Why would I get it?
Perfect.
I mean, I don't see a big deal, right? It's obviously open to the public. There's no...
And pay attention to the sergeant's body language. So he's a sergeant. Pay attention to his body language. So the moment the First Amendment auditor refused to give up his identification, specifically his name, the sergeant went into like a defensive posture, right? And it's important to pick up on these cues because he knows that he's probably in a situation where he's messing up. So he's in a defensive posture. And in a situation like that, his best bet is just to jump ship and leave. Don't even engage, but he wants to be there because, again, the need to be right, egos flying. It's like the guy isn't doing anything. He's filming in public, okay? Anything in public, it's fair game. I say that again. Anything in public view is fair game. Now, what that means is this First Amendment auditor could be walking down the street. He could be walking past your house. And if he sees you stripping naked in the window of your house, but he's on public property and he just happened to film that, he's within his right to do that. And there's absolutely nothing you could do about it except put blinds up or put up a higher fence. But anything that could be seen in public is fair game.
No fence, door, gates, barriers, walls blocking me from being here. I can take pictures. I know that for sure.
I just want to know what your motive is because it's fairly suspicious.
How is this?
Well, the motive is simple. He's filming, and there's nothing suspicious about it. And when you're in a situation like this, you can ask the law enforcement officer, whether it's a city police officer, a county sheriff, a state highway patrolman, or a state police officer. You could ask, well, is suspicion a felony or a misdemeanor? Suspicion is not a crime. Let me repeat, suspicion is not a crime. You can be suspicious all you want. That makes no difference to anybody. And another thing, you do not have to help them and assist them with their investigation against you. Okay? Remember that. You do not have to help any law enforcement agency with no investigation of you. It's crazy. You don't have to do that. You don't have to relinquish any information if you don't want to.
Suspicious.
Nobody does this. Nobody does this. This is out of the norm.
Nobody does it. There's a lot of
So
people that
nobody
do this.
stands on the corner and hops on 1 foot. Would that be suspicious? Because nobody does it.
Weird to me.
But is it
People do that
suspicious?
stuff all the time, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you. That's not suspicious. If I saw somebody standing there hopping on 1 foot, I'd probably laugh, take a picture, and drive on. I wouldn't think that's suspicious. He's up to some criminal activity.
Oh, he's hopping on 1 foot. So let's make up a scenario where a guy could be hopping on 1 foot, right? Because this is what they do. Oh, you're hopping on 1 foot because you probably have to, I don't know, use the restroom because you just robbed the bank and you were held up in the bank for so long. So you were hopping because you just had to use the restroom so bad after that bank heist. Come on now. They just make things up. And it's crazy. And that's why if and when you're ever in a situation, you do not have to entertain it. Keep your mouth closed. Shut up. Do not say anything. Now, this guy, he's intentionally pushing back because he's a First Amendment auditor. So he's very versed and he's very experienced with these encounters. So
Building a secure lot is somewhat
It
suspicious.
doesn't matter if you see it every day. I mean, it doesn't matter at all. So whether you see something every day or not doesn't make it suspicious. You know what I mean? And if it's suspicious of what crime would it be suspicious of?
I didn't say it was suspicious of a crime, I said it was suspicious.
But you're law enforcement, right?
Yeah.
So what law would you be enforcing if it's not suspicious
Not
of a
enforcing
crime?
law, am I? Have I physically removed you or touched
Well,
you?
you're stopping me from doing what I'm doing.
You're free to go about your business. You're
Uh-huh.
free to do whatever you want to do. I'm just here asking you questions.
And you're free to.
yeah, but a situation like that when they surround him and they're armed, that's not pleasant at all for any citizen.
Press on as well,
I am,
right?
but I find that I want to stay right here now.
Okay.
Because
Stay right here all you
I'm
want.
free to do as I please as well.
Not really. You're on duty. You're free to do what you're paid to do. You're not free to do whatever you want.
No, I'm an American citizen. I'm free to do what I want.
Not on duty. You're not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me my job now.
Yeah, I think it sounds like I know it.
Why
Yeah.
don't you give me the parameters of my job?
Give you the parameters of your job to uphold and defend.
Law enforcement to protect and serve, to protect and serve. What you're not doing right now, right? You're just wasting time for someone filming.
The Constitution. That's it. That's what you took an oath to, right?
Excuse me?
I said to uphold and defend the Constitution. That's what you took an oath to,
I'm
right?
asking you to tell me.
I'm telling you.
These are the games.
That's what you took an oath to. So that's your job, to defend and uphold the Constitution. Right now, how would you be defending or upholding the Constitution at all? Now you're just standing here?
Yeah.
A little childish, right?
Ditto.
Ditto? Me taking pictures is childish? Doing a story is childish? Well, you might not like it, but it's happening and it's going to happen. So
Well, you might not like me standing here, but it's happening.
I
It's
don't.
gonna happen.
I could care less if you're standing here. I mean, you're the one making yourself look bad. All I do is point the camera and record. That's it.
And that's a huge point. And you see how law enforcement gets so riled up by someone recording with a camera. Accountability is huge, and they don't like it. But they have body cams, and some of the things that they would do, what you would have to probably watch out for is they would say, well, I'm recording, like that's supposed to absolve, any issues. It's like, no, you need to still record because, it could tell an entirely different picture than their points of view. And then miraculously, with their body cam footage, it wasn't recording during that time, or something else was happening where the footage was lost or something. So you got to be careful. But this is America, American policing at its finest.
This is doing your job.
Yeah, I don't know.
How are you defending or upholding the Constitution right now? Because that's your
There's
job.
nothing else to uphold or defend right now, so I can stand wherever I
Got paperwork to do.
I'm sorry.
Couldn't you go run traffic? Couldn't you go look for people who have warrants? A lot of stuff
Well,
to
I'd
do,
like
man.
to, but
All
I'd like
kinds.
to check you for warrants, but I can't because you won't give me your name or identification.
Beautiful how that works, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. I like it. Personally, people have a right to privacy. I'd like to check you for warrants too. Can I have your ID? Why not?
Well, number one, you have no way to check me for warrants.
Are you sure?
Just like
Are
I
you?
don't
Are you?
have to.
There are services that would be able to give that information, even about a cop. All right. We see it all the time. If you look up someone online, you could get all of their personal details. I mean, you might have to pay $19.99, but you get my point. You could get information if you really wanted to. So a lot of that stuff, and especially with the cop, a lot of the stuff is public information. You could do a FOIA request, and for those that don't know, FOIA is an acronym for Freedom of Information's Act request. So, any information about a police officer or any public official, whether it's that administrative assistant, a court official, whomever, you can get their information. You just have to do a FOIA request.
Are you sure there, bud? Are you sure? Are you sure? Whether we have no way to check you for warrants or not. Well, me then. How about that? Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about on that one. Well, I want to see your address and stuff.
No, you're not getting my address.
Why not?
My address is 1333 Northwest Eastern Park.
No, your personal address.
That's what's on my ID.
I know, you want mine. So I'll get, how about this? Give me yours and I'll give you mine.
You want my ID?
Yeah.
Let me see yours.
Address and all that stuff. Don't
There you go.
That's not your ID.
It is too.
Nah, that's not an ID. That's a police ID. I want your ID.
Personal
ID, your real one.
There it is. That's all the information you need on
No, that don't have your address on
You
it.
can check all my warrants on this.
That don't have your address there.
Which I don't. Because if I did, I wouldn't be employed.
I'd rather just look at your personnel file to see if you do this all the time.
Go ahead. See, I do what all the time? Talk to
Just
people.
bother people.
Part of my job. I'm talking to people right now.
You're talking to a person right now.
Whatever.
Yeah, you got him out.
That's an important point. The cop realizes that he can't intimidate this guy. He knows that the cop, I think, realizes that this guy probably has done this before, and he's like, okay. So you see a slight shift in his attitude versus before, when he was very demanding and confrontational and intimidating. So.
In your pocket. Remember that comment? I just did the same thing to you. It's pointless, right? Anyways, I don't need anything, man. You guys go back to work.
Neither do I.
Stop wasting our money, huh? Holy shit. The maturity level is awesome here, huh?
Exactly.
I'm not the one sitting here accosting somebody, right?
I'm not accosting you.
Yeah, you are. You're sitting here bugging me on purpose. Standing within like 3 feet of me on purpose. What if I got a little closer to you? You gonna be comfortable?
Sure.
You gonna be comfortable with me being closer to you?
Sure.
Well, I have no problem getting closer.
As close as you feel appropriate.
Well, what's the point of it, though? That's the whole point. What's the point of what you're doing?
You asked the question.
What's the point of what you're doing? Because I know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
None of your business. But what's the point of what you're doing? Your ego is hurt right now. Your ego's hurt. Yeah, it is. That's why you're still here. Because other than that, you would have been gone. You would have left.
And that's a huge point. The cop could have just left. Why is he entertaining that? But,
You would have left. You would have said, he's not doing anything against the law. I can be on my way, on my job, and you would have left. But your ego's hurt, right? Your fragile ego's hurt right now, and you want to stay.
And somewhat kudos to this other cop here, because he's there, but he's not getting himself fully involved. I mean, he's still there. He can still be responsible for certain things depending on the outcomes. But in a situation like this, sometimes it's just best to just stay quiet and learn from it, because he's not a sergeant. He's just a regular police officer. So hopefully he's learning a lot, and he's learning what not to do.
You want to try to be, immature and just create a problem. It's pointless, right?
Saying all of the.
I'm saying it. I am. I'm not. How am I hurting? How am I hurting? I'm just saying that your ego is hurt right now. It's true. It's true. You wouldn't be here. Yeah, it is. You wouldn't stop somebody who's taking pictures anywhere else. You wouldn't stand and be talking to that person. You wouldn't stay here. I know I'm not stopped. I understand I'm not, and I'm free to stay. I understand I'm not being detained at all. I'm not saying you're detaining me. What I'm saying is, if your ego wasn't hurt and you weren't acting like a big baby, you'd be gone. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm pointing out to you.
And now they're just going in circles, but that just goes to show you the cop, he could have left a long time ago, but he's still entertaining this. and it's just making him look bad. The First Amendment auditor is doing what First Amendment auditors doing. They're challenging them. They're picking apart their behaviors and their responses. Because the First Amendment auditor, that's literally what they do. So, in a situation like this, you better off just leave him alone. Leave the First Amendment auditor alone, because you're gonna fall into a situation like this.
So, why don't you just go back to work? No big deal. What's the big deal? This is working. This is a waste of money. What's your salary full package?
You can look that up online.
I know.
Then look it up.
I will. No problem. Easy for me to find out. I just figured you'd be cordial and say it's this much, and I'm wasting this much money right now.
I gave you my name. You won't give me yours.
There's no need for me to.
He doesn't have to give it.
That's not being cordial or not being cordial.
You didn't give me my salary.
That's not being cordial or not being cordial.
Sure.
How impolite to not give you my name? No.
I gave you mine.
There's a Fourth Amendment for a reason. So police don't get to just mess with people and ask for our papers. So that's not has nothing to do with being. There's a Fourth Amendment for a reason. So police don't get to just mess with people and ask for our papers. So that's not has nothing to do with being polite or impolite.
All right, so I'm gonna end this here. I'm gonna leave the link to the original video. Major shouts out to Bay Area Transparency. I'm gonna be covering other First Amendment auditors. There's a lot of other really great First Amendment auditors out there. I love their work. Some of the other folks that I follow, they're gonna have some amazing stuff that I can't wait to share. But yeah, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and until the next time, peace.